Alright guys, welcome back. I wanted to talk to you about the new update and how it specifically will apply to Real-Time Arena or World Arena in Summoner's War. This update seems almost entirely focused on Real-Time Arena. It's a great one, it looks like. They're fixing a lot of the problems. They're changing some things, it seems like, for the better. So let's get into it. The first season's going to end on June 28th. That's the big thing. We've been wondering when it was going to happen. Some people were thinking the last day of the month, but June 28th. I expect the next few days to just be a bloodbath in Real-Time Arena. I bet the threshold will go up for G1, G2. It's going to be crazy for the next couple of days. Okay, so we're talking about the ending date. Let's go down and see what else is going on. The rewards will be given out on the 30th. There'll be one full day while they tabulate, and then you'll get your rewards. You'll have a little bit of a break between Season 1 and Season 2, a couple weeks. You can Goodwill Battle, you can play in your teams, you can re-rune for TOA, whatever you need to do. Reset levels will be as follows, no big deal. Okay, so the big change, Violent Runes limited to 1 turn. I don't know if that applies only to Real-Time Arena or if it applies to the entire game. My guess is Real-Time Arena. There's a lot of things in the game that would be very different if Violent Runes only applied 1 turn. But what that's going to mean for Real-Time Arena gameplay is we're going to see a lot of other sets opening up. I expect Swift to be even more prevalent. I expect people to want to take first turn. Violent Abusers are going to be limited. Your heavy DPS is going to be somewhat limited. Your Pernas, your Theomars, things like that. Things that, you know, if they take 3 turns, you die. And now, if they take 2 turns, all you need to do is really survive 2 turns of whatever ridiculous thing's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to increase the proc rate. That would be kind of crazy, but it's possible. But 1 turn limited to Violent Abusers. Some monsters I expect to see improve in the meta with this change are things that make extra turns on their own, reset the Violent clock, and can still keep going crazy. They've changed Orion a little bit so that he can only proc 3 times on his first skill, but a Violent Orion can proc 1 Violent and then get 3 more procs. A Violent Orion could be really, really good. Other things that get extra turns on their first skill, I think, will be more and more powerful. There's a lot of monsters that could see increased play, but we'll just have to kind of see how that goes. Some, I think, like a Chasun might be in some trouble because you're no longer going to get to see her do her first skill, proc into her second skill, proc into her third skill. Things that balance attack bars, though, might be improved. Like her balancing third skill might help because it's basically an extra turn. The light Chasun Yi Hong, already fantastic, compared to other violent healers, might get even better. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with the changes in Violent Runes. I expect Despair to be more prevalent. I expect Swift to be more prevalent. It's going to change things up quite a bit. The next big change is for people that slow play and try to run up the clock every turn. Those days are over. In Hearthstone, that's a similar mechanic. If you take the whole clock, you're given less clock and less clock and less clock, which makes sense for gameplay. The other thing I think is going to stress me out a little bit is it also will reduce the clock in the pick and ban phase. I'm more likely to use the entire clock in pick and ban or get right up to the timer than I am in gameplay. So I'm going to try to push picking in the first half of the clock more often so that I don't run up against that timer. I'm going to think about storing monsters that I never want to pick just to get them out of the way, get them off my screen, because I do not want to have to pick anything in pick and ban in 7 or 3 seconds if I accidentally run against the clock. So something to watch out for. The other thing I thought was really interesting is when the timer starts in the battles, it used to be on turn 30. Now it's turn 20. That's a big deal. That's going to really change the meta. People who run stall teams that are waiting for the clock, I think those teams just got better. The teams that want to nuke, your timer is decreased. And then, if you're trying to do your Fey, Galleon, whatever, they only have to survive 10 less turns of that than they used to. So you might not need to bring a defense breaker. You might not need to bring a damage dealer. You only need to keep the CC up for 20 turns instead of 30 turns. That's a big difference. I think we're going to see some gameplay changes based on that. People are going to be working the clock a little bit more. Victory points, this will be nice for people who are highly ranked and are getting just destroyed with every loss of someone lower than them, but yet they're unable to get points from winning equal level. So hopefully that's a change for the better. You never know. It says modified. It doesn't exactly spell out what it's going to do. Rewards, this is cool for like one guy. And probably 10 people that are competitive for Legend. People that are, big spenders, that have the right monsters. Those people are really happy with this change. And to be fair, it should be. There should be a difference between, G3 and Legend. There should be a reason to push for that. And the way this benefits all players is there'll be more points in the system. The top players won't need to stop as soon as they're comfortably in the top 100 because, they don't want to push like their life depended on it for one extra transmog. Now, maybe they really want to push, and so that'll introduce more points into the system, I would expect. So they've also got a statue for the #1 player. Um, Season rewards are going to be Homunculus Transmog, which is interesting, but I don't think Homunculus Transmog is as good as the Ifrit Transmog because Homunculuses can't be used in PvP. So you're PvPing to show off what? Something to yourself. The best case scenario in terms of being able to have people see these transmogs is if your homunculus is your farmer. Mine is my water one, which is kind of nice, but it doesn't affect PvP at all. I think I'll probably be less incentivized to push next season because unless the transmog is just fantastic and I want to look at it, but it's not going to ever be seen by anyone. It's not going to be on Guild Wars defense. It's not going to be on arena defense. I think the Ifrit transmog is a better overall reward. All right, Rift Dungeons does not apply to real-time arena. These are some cool changes. You want to check them out. They're PvE focused. The new homunculuses also do not apply to real-time arena because they're not usable. So check those out. There's going to be some great PvE changes, but that is how this patch affects real-time arena. I hope this was helpful. I hope people who are interested in real-time arena are excited. This is going to be a great change for everyone that's interested in the real-time arena. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions or you want to talk about this patch, let me know, and I will catch y'all next time. Later, guys.